What's up, Hobby Maniacs? Rob Bear here today with a look at a fantastic miniature company out of Europe called Kromlech. Kromlech makes some really good looking miniature parts as well as full-on kits, resin bases. They pretty much are like a one-stop shop when it comes to trying to pimp out your armies or just collecting something different, because there seems to be, some sort of models for pretty much anybody, you know what I mean? So today we're going to take a look at a great selection of their current models that they sent over to us to take a look at, which I definitely want to showcase to you guys because they're really coming on strong with a lot of different kits and accessories and things over the past 4 or 5 years coming out of there. They're a really great company, and they also gave us a ton of little mini swag bags to give out to all of our Patreon supporters over there on Patreon. So this month being April of 2016 actually is Kromlech month here at Spiky Bits. So anybody that signs up to help support all of our video features and content over on patreon.com will get one of these great little Kromlech swag bags, as well as some of this swag that's here as well, just kind of depending on how it all gets divvied out next month in May when we send out the shipment. So check out the link right up there in the top of the left and see what you can do to help support what we do here, and come right back for a look at all this great miniature goodness. And we're back with some great looking minis from Kromlech. So first up, I wanted to show you some of their bases. Bases are kind of a new thing for them, and it's such a novel idea. Bases, everybody wants something a little bit different, but not all the companies out there offer the same thing. So I feel like bases is really a place where a company can really shine with some great designs that haven't been done yet. And these here are called windfill bases, 32mm rounds, and they're really awesome. I mean, they got little bits of like tree stumps and leaves and all sorts of things. They're very three-dimensional. It looks like they had enough flat spots for you to put your models footprints, basically feet, to mount them to the bases themselves. You might have to pin them, but they're very chunky bases. They got a good heft to them. They seem at very high quality. There isn't any like bubbles or anything like that. And if you're a store owner, let me just grab you by the ear real quick and holler at you real quick. So when I owned my retail store, one of the things that I noticed as Games Workshop progressively became more and more expensive is there wasn't as many impulse buys from Games Workshop. And one of the things I did was I had used product in the cases as one thing, and we can talk about that on a different video. But one of the other things I did to help impulse buys was to have things like this at that $10 and $15 kind of blister price point range on the shelf for people to come in and be like, yo, let me get some conversion parts, let me get some new bases. Secret Weapon Mini's good for that. Kromlech's good for that. There's a bunch of other companies out there as well. But if you basically stock these, and there's a couple of retailers here in the States, you check with your distros and you can find them. As a player or as somebody, as a consumer, you can tell your game store, you can give this some suggestion if you heard it from me here on Spiky Bits. Hey, I heard, there's some blisters, there's some conversion parts out there from a whole bunch of different companies. They're in distribution, they're prepackaged retail. The only thing is they don't have a UPC on them in the case of Kromlech, but they do have a SKU, and a SKU is half the way, it's half the way that you can look something up at the register. So if you have a SKU, you get a price tag on here. Most stores can retail this because it's in that pop hang kind of case thing. So getting back to, so if you're a store owner, check these guys out. If you're a consumer and you want your store to start carrying this stuff, check these guys out. So there was a cool set of bases. Then they've also got some rocky outcrop bases, which are kind of like a shale type deal. That's a common thing. We've seen it around, but I thought it was really neat. Then we got the windfall bike base pill kind of style here, which again, very cool looking, very striking. I feel they're pretty neat. And the rocky outcrop. So it looks like they're really kind of ramping up their designs for basing. This is kind of like the first couple of things that Kromlech's got going on, but I'm sure they will have more. But what they do have is a ton of actual standalone kits. These guys are called Plaguelings, and I think we all know they're Nurglings, and they're kind of done in that old cool design of a bunch of different ones. You pop them off a sprue and you just put them on the base there, as opposed to kind of the plastic kind of three-part thing kit that G-Dub's got. And I like these guys because they're doing all sorts of dumb shit, and that's just what Nurglings do. They just kind of walk around and moon you and do weird little things. So really great detail. It looks like you get a pack of 12 in here, so 3 bases. Each one's on a different sprue. Snip them off, good to go. High quality stuff here. I mean, you can tell they used a really good resin. It gets in there, the really good detail, it's really good sculpts. 3 different, looks like alternate kind of miniature sculpts there. for you to choose from. Along the same kind of, I guess, vein, we've got a standalone piece. This is the Iron Reich Goblin Flamer team, which is basically them taking goblins and orcs and turning them, you know, into kind of like the, I guess, Germany, World War II Germany Reich kind of theme, which I think is pretty unique. You know, that and Iron Reich Zombies, I think, is a pretty cool theme. So they have a whole variety of things. Here's the Iron Reich Orc Taskmaster with Gnawhound. So it's kind of like that whole Deathcore Krieg meets the orcs, you know what I mean? And that guy's ridiculously detailed. I mean, look at him. He's got the freaking cigar, he's got the commissar cap, you know, kind of thing. He's got his little whip, Indy Jones kind of Taskmaster kind of whip right there with the handle over there. And then, you know, his little squig hound kind of thing. So you can use him as a war boss, you can use him as all sorts of stuff. And that's what's so great about this stuff is, yeah, I mean, it costs a little bit more because you got to import it from, you know, Europe or whatever, but if you can find it here in the States, like I said, on your store shelves, it's pretty good stuff. And then here's the Iron Reich Goblin Commander Kurz von Niedrig, little sassy pants right there. It looks like he has a power fist that goes together, a multi-part kind of power fist. So these guys are great, kind of like the Squats meet Iron Reich meet, you know, alternate Imperial Guardsmen. And then this guy here is kind of like a Dark Eldar, kind of larger kind of scale model. He's on a 28mm base, so you could use him as a Archon, or, you know, maybe something to do with the Corsairs or something like that. You know, there's all sorts of different things. That's what's great about these models is you pick them up and you're like, I can use it for that, I can use it for that. Then this guy here is called the Morbid Beast. He's basically like a kind of creepy big ass spider with a big butt, and I will not lie, with this little like kind of face. He's basically, kind of looks like a Hero Duel, but like without the talons. So he just kind of like farts around there. Really cool miniatures. There's all sorts of really good looking original casts, original sculpts, you know, the Iron Reich stuff, and like I said, they're, you know, ready for retail. Also, another good thing ready for retail is the gravity guns. So who doesn't need some grav guns, right? They're not gravity guns, they're grav guns, let's be honest. They don't have the hands on them, so you can snip them off and put them on, you know, your existing plastic guys. Might be a little bit tougher with the cal things, but there they are right there, and it's a great looking pack. I think this is price pointed right around $10 US, and good looking stuff, good looking alternate stuff, super easy to get. And then of course they got the heavy gravity cannons as well to throw on your Devastator guys. So you're like, yo, I don't feel like buying a box of Devastators. Well, yo, let me just get this Legionary gravity cannons, you know, and pack where it's got the arms, it's got everything you need to basically throw 3 of these onto your Devastators and Skyhammer Annihilation your opponents for days. So that's all the little stuff. Now, if you're on our Patreon page, you will be getting one of these here in May, and it's kind of like a little swag pack. It's got a couple of alternate heads, and then it's got like a weapon, and they're all different. They casted up like 10 of these sprues, and then they put them in here with a little discount card and some kind of like, hey, who we are, hey, let me introduce you to Kromlech. They have the Bits of War website, obviously. That's where you can go and check out all the new bits, and they put out stuff like all the time, like pretty much once per week these guys are putting something out. Now over here we've got the boxes. Now everything, you know, you saw Forgel do the big switch to bubble wrap and boxes and things. Well, these guys have been on that already because they know coming from, you know, Europe, stuff's going to get busted. So they take the utmost care to really make sure that their stuff is taken care of, which we can see right here. This is the Orc Tank Hunters team. Comes in a great looking box. It fills the whole box. Some of these have little packing peanuts and things in here, but this one fills the whole box, so I feel like they felt like it didn't need extra protection. Everything lays flat. So these guys are basically like tank busters, right? But they got, you know, the long coats. You know, they're kind of like that whole Iron Reich kind of deal. They got these sweet backpacks with big ass like tubes for, you know, bazookas for tank busting, and then a couple guys loading, a couple guys grabbing their tank buster packs. Then they got tank buster bombs, which are like, you know, stick busters rather, you know, stuff we've seen in the past in Europe. You got a whole bunch of like random tips to put on top of your rocket launchers right there. So, you know, it's all sorts of variety. These kits are really cool. I mean, for what do you get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 of these dudes, all incredibly detailed on separate sprues. You got a couple of different heads to choose from with the gas mask. Really cool looking stuff. I mean, these guys go out of their way. They make sure that this stuff is high quality. It's all put. I had never got a bad cast from these guys, and I tell you what, you know, I've been buying their stuff for days. And actually, I know Kenny Boucher from Next Level Painting. You probably saw his Rotten Butcher he did a while back. He actually got a bad cast. He the resin seeped out of it after he had painted it, and he had to like repaint a portion. He had to drill in, drill out, you know, drain out the resin, and then repaint a portion of it. And they actually sent him a brand new Rotten Butcher as compensation, which is pretty cool because that was like a $60 miniature, and to get that for free, even though he was able to salvage it, just really speaks volumes to their customer service, I feel like. Then we've got the Orc Mega Bossing Mecha Armor, which is basically fancy pants for saying, you know, Mega Armor. And this guy is ginormous. He's basically Gazgul. I mean, that is a 50 mil base right there. And then he's got so many different moving parts and buzzsaws and whizzy bangs and all sorts of things. His head goes right in here. I mean, look at that cavernous, like, area right there for his head. He's got all sorts of arms. Look at that double buzzsaw. I mean, it's just amazing looking, all the whirly bangs and wires and things, and everything is cast on a sprue. It's all very good quality, and I'm trying to find his head. It's probably attached to something, but I can't seem to find it. But there is a ton of pieces on there. Holy cow, there's so much cool. Oh, there it is. It looks like there's 2 different varieties of heads. You can see them right there at the end. So another great looking kit that comes pre-boxed, ready to go from them. And then this thing's kind of cool, and it comes with, like I said, sometimes they pack little packing peanuts in there. This is the Snail Beast, which I thought was pretty interesting. So it's a snail, because, hey, Nurgle, right? So it's this really cool looking snail with like this meat grinder kind of mouth thing, and he's like, kind of like a cross between Slimer from the Ghostbusters and, you know, a whole bunch of different other genres out there, Nurgle and things, and he's got a bunch of different arms. He's basically just shoving stuff in his face and all the different arms. So that's a really neat looking kit. If you're looking for like a demon prince or something else that's just a little bit different from everything else that's out there, you know, Kromlech's got some really cool ideas that you can grab. And then this is the Rotten Butcher, which you've probably seen this guy like a million times over on Next Level Painting. Incredible looking kit. I mean, just intricate detail, just a chunk of resin. I mean, this thing is literally 5 inches tall at the very least, and then he's got this 2-part kind of glaive that really just kind of extends out. You can magnetize this part right here so that it doesn't bust off, because these are large chunks of resin, and it comes out about 7 inches, to be quite honest. Like, this is incredible quality. You know, you're talking something that from Games Workshop would probably cost $85 to $100 from Forger. I couldn't even imagine. From these guys, you can get this for about $60, I believe. And that's just, you know, I think these designs and these things that Kromlech's really bringing is really groundbreaking. You know, it's really cool stuff to see all these different designs and all these different genres, and the ability for secondhand companies to really come on and do so much cool stuff. And then this guy right here is like he's like a morbid beast kind of thing. It's called a Spore Chimney, where basically he's just kind of like a chaos spawn that just has these little stacks of spores just coming out of his neck. So kind of like something you might see in like Halo, you know, the Flood or something. It's probably like a one-off kind of thing. Nothing that you could really field, I guess, in multiples, because they all look kind of the same. More goblins from the Ironreich squad. These guys are really cool. You know, they have all their grenadier helmets, and, you know, just kind of walking around doing the things. A couple stick bombs here and there. It looks like there's a telephone for a box caster, and yeah, a little box caster guy with a telephone, like a traditional telephone. That's receiver. That's pretty cool. And then a couple of dudes with stick bombs, which would be your missile launchers. And then this guy here, you know, they all got rifles. So it's basically like a little mini veteran squad, which I think is pretty neat. These guys are very high quality. If you're looking for something different, you know, maybe you want Deathcore Krieg, but you don't want to pay Deathcore Krieg prices or mess with those fiddly bits, then these would probably be for you. Then there's the Orc Juggernaut squad, which looks to be pretty much knobs and mega armor for the most part. And there they are. You can see them right there. Very well detailed. There's tons of weapon options. You got buzzsaw arms, you got clackety-clack guns right there. You got all sorts of different heads. It looks like 1, 2, 3 bodies, 1, 2, 3 sets of legs, sets of arms. Nothing too interchangeable when it comes to the parts though, but you do get a bunch of different heads to choose from and a couple of different, it looks like 1, 2, 3, yep, 3 different weapon arms. Oh, actually those are probably, nope, those are weapon arms. And then you've got a buzzsaw, some doodads on the back, a couple of power fists. You get 1 buzzsaw and like 2, a drill. Also, it's 3 different models. It's just not, you're not going to get variety on the different models themselves, but you are going to get 3 different ones. So you could do a little squad, or you could, you know, kind of field them separately in a normal squad of your Iron Reich troopers there. We showed you the goblins, and this is the last one they sent over to show us. This is Captain Orc, which is basically like Captain America, but Captain Orcs. And he's got that orc shield there, and he's kind of like putting his hand on this little wall and kind of jumping over it, kind of like all Steve Rogers style. There you can see he's got a very similar kind of Captain America kind of outfit with his Captain America kind of shield and styling there, and straps, leather straps and things like that. So it's a really cool piece. Now this is probably on the 75mm scale, so it's kind of like a showcase piece. It's probably nothing that you could take at 28mm and put in, you know, your orc army or anything like that. But nonetheless, if you just like painting stuff up and having something cool on hand, that would be a really cool thing for you. So that's kind of like an overview of a lot of different products from Kromlech. Like I said, their stuff is amazing. They're really cool designs. There's usually something for everybody out there, and they're always putting out new things. Like they're really starting to get into, you know, doing resin bases, which I feel like their designs are pretty spot on. So if you're looking for that alternate kind of look models, or you're looking for some upgrade kits or something like that, check out Kromlech's site. It's Bits of War. I think it's let's see, it's bitsofwar.com. It's their official web store. And also, you know, if you're a store owner, check with your distribution about carrying them in your store itself. They got really good price points, and I think you'll see a lot of impulse buys from carrying that stuff. And if you're a consumer and you want to see it in your store, talk to your store owner and tell them, hey, I heard on Spiky Bits they got this stuff. Go check it out. Talk to your people and see where you can source it from, because, you know, having this stuff in stock definitely will add to any store's bottom line, I feel like. So that's it for this one, guys. Make sure you head over to patreon.com/spikybits. Check out how you can support all the video tutorials and features we do here, and score yourself some of this swag as well. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, or more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.